why don't we start with a new language in the market as a first language? The first video will get huge amount of views. The second video, the number of views get down with every video. There are some schools which are teaching Java as their first language. Now the problem is, welcome back aliens, my name is Devin Reddy, and in this video we'll talk about the best programming language for beginners. See, every year, especially in the month of Jan, we have this trend of uploading a video which talks about the top 5 languages, right? And in fact, I'm doing that from last few years, but this year I thought, hey, not needed, because we don't have that much of change in the ranking, or we don't have a suddenly new language which is taking the market. But yes, if you want that video, let me in the comment section. But that's not the main topic here. The main topic is which language to choose. Now hold on, you might be thinking, we have talked about it. In fact, a few years back, I had that video. The thing is, last week, I met with some of my friends after a long time, after COVID, of course. It's been 8 months. And then we were talking about different aspects of the society, what is happening, what is right. We talked about vaccine, all the other issues happening. But then there was one issue, and we all know about that issue, right? Which is teaching programming language to kids. I mean, I'm okay with that, okay? If your kid is around 10 years old, 11 years old, that's a good time. But then you have seen the recent trend. A few companies wanted to teach programming language to a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old. Okay, that's their business, business way. But now looking at that aspect, of course, if someone is starting that, it might become a trend for other companies as well. Maybe schools and colleges will start doing that, and it will become a trend for everyone, okay? Starting from school kids. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's fine. In fact, if as a student, maybe a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old, if they want to learn a language, they can choose between multiple options, right? And then, of course, there will be someone who will guide them. But then, what if someone wants to learn it by themselves? How do you choose a language? Now, it's also important. What's also important is, see, when I was a kid, when I was in my school, of course, we used to go to tuitions. I did that for 1 or 2 years. But after coming back as well, my parents used to teach me, right? So they used to help me with the homework, and they were able to help do that because they knew all the subjects, right? They knew mathematics, they knew science, they knew Hindi, they knew English. So they were able to help me with my homework, right? But this time, when you have a programming language as a parent, if you are from non-technical background, and if your kid is learning a programming language, somewhere you need to help them with the homework. So again, this is where you as a parent has to learn that language, right? Now that's the thing. So as your kid is learning a language, you have to learn a language. Now, there are some backgrounds there. Of course, after COVID, things are changing. A lot of people are moving towards technical side, or they want to explore more now. Now, in this case, if they want to start a language, which one to choose? See, if you look at the current scenario, we have thousands of languages in the market. Now, few of them are famous. Let's say 20 or 30 languages are there, which you can choose from. But still, there's a question, which one to choose? Should I go for Java? Should I go for C#? Should I go for Python or JavaScript? Now, let me make it easy for you. Now, in this video, let's decide which language to go for. Now, it also depends upon what is your background. It depends upon from where you will get the help, and what exactly you like. Now, to give a straightforward answer, Python is a go-to language for anyone to start with. In fact, recently I got a message from one of the person from the film industry, and then he's an executive producer, and then I got a message from him that he's learning a Python language just for fun, just for experimenting, because he wanted to explore the programming world, and that was awesome. You know, being into that industry, being a producer, you want to learn a language, so it shows the interest, right? So Python is a go-to language for everyone. So what you do is, if you want to learn a language, you just need a laptop. In fact, there are online compilers available. You can just use a mobile phone, and you can actually write code online, okay, the Python code. And you can learn that in one day, okay? So you can try with some code, and then you'll understand what is going on with the language, but not exactly I mean, of course, you cannot learn everything in one day. You can't write applications. You have to give time, maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks. Of course, in 4 weeks, you cannot build an application, but at least you can understand the crux of a language, what is going on. Now, is it a straightforward answer for everyone? Not exactly. See, there are multiple languages which are easy and you can go for it. Now, some people have a very specific requirement. Example, let's say as a student, I want to build applications, but mostly web applications. I want to build front end, back end. Mostly people start with the front end. At that point, the best choice should be JavaScript, right? See, JavaScript is very famous in the world of web. In fact, nowadays you can use JavaScript to build everything. Thanks to thanks to Node.js, thanks to the frameworks which are in the market, we have React, Angular, which is taking JavaScript to a next level. So if you just want to learn a language just for the fun part, or you want to get into some niche field like machine learning, of course, I'm not saying by learning Python you can be a machine learning expert, but that should be a first step, right? Learn a language, understand how things works, and then while you're learning different models of AI, you can experiment with that with the help of a language, right? So Python is good there. But if you want to go for web applications, of course, JavaScript should be your first choice. See, there's another aspect to it. The thing is, there are some schools which are teaching Java as their first language. Now the problem is, Java is a great language, okay? Don't take me wrong. It's one of the best languages in the market. I'm still a Java fan. If you give me a choice of working on an application, I will of course go for Java. The problem is Java is very vast, okay? It's very verbose. Even if you want to print hello world, you need to write multiple lines of codes. Yes, now with Java 9, we have the REPL. You can directly write one line and you will get the output. But if you want to understand the crux of that language, you need to spend time. Now, should I go for Java as my first language? The answer is yes, okay, there's a terms and conditions here. If you don't have much time to spend on other languages, and if you want to build applications, if you want to get into enterprise market, if you are a BA and you are working on a project where you are responsible to get the requirements, and then you have a team who you have to communicate with the team, and if they are working on Java, of course, you don't have enough time to learn Python, then you will go for Java. So can you learn Java? Yes, it takes time. The only thing is, when you're learning Python, you can jump from different topics, okay? So let's say now you want to learn hello world, you're done with that. Now you want to see how do you run a loop, you're done with that. And then we'll talk about threads later. But when you learn Java, you have to learn Java in a very systematic way. The moment you jump from one topic to the topic, you're gone, you will start hating a language. Now there's another aspect here. Some people want to learn a language and then they start with it. In fact, if you watch videos on YouTube or any playlist for the programming language, the first video will get huge amount of views. The second video, the number of views get down with every video. Why is that? Is because as a learner, somewhere you lose the interest, or somewhere you found some other channel where you follow that concepts. But most of them, they lose the interest at midpoint, because when you start learning a language, you have that mindset, just by learning this language, I can build applications. And you don't find it till first 20 to 30 videos, because we try to make sure that we give you the base. After that, you can build applications. For Java, it is applicable. For Python, it's applicable. In JavaScript, it's different. In JavaScript, from the first line itself, from the first tutorial, you can actually work on a web page where you can create buttons, where you can see pop-up, provided you know basic of HTML and CSS. Those things are very easy to learn. Now, the question is, why don't we start with a new language in the market as a first language? There are people who say, Python is old, JavaScript is old, Java is very old. I want to start with a new language like Rust, let's Go, Dart. There are new languages in the market, right? Of course, why to waste time learning these languages? The answer is very simple. When you start learning a language and when you start building applications or even a small code, your code will have errors, your code will have bugs. Now, when you get an error, the first thing you do is, of course, you will ask your friends or your mentors, but the good thing is you have to Google it. You go to Google and search for the exact error. This is where I got stuck, right? And then If you give the proper error, the first link would be of Stack Overflow, and in Stack Overflow there will be a question with your error and there will be answers. The problem is with new languages, you don't have enough resources to help to get the help. We don't have much questions on Stack Overflow for that particular language. We don't have enough people who knows about it. Example, if you ask me Java question, I might reply you, this is very simple because I know Java, I know Python, I know JavaScript, I can help you. But the moment you ask me a question on Rust, which I don't know about, so you lost one resource there, right? There might be people who know about Rust, but the number of people who knows Rust are less. So to start your language, don't go for new language. Of course, you can learn them once you know the basics of language. Let's say once you know Python, once you know, let's say JavaScript, you can explore now because now you know the crux of the language. Whenever you get error in some other languages, now you know how to tackle that, right? So it doesn't matter if you're a school student, if you are a parent, if you are working for a company, if you want to learn a language, go with Python. To learn a language, go with JavaScript for building an application, and if you have a very specific requirement, you can go with Java as well. So yeah, that's it from this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section and do subscribe for further videos. Bye bye.